Presenting the PR Maven podcast, hosted by Nancy Marshall, the PR Maven. Targeted at business leaders who want to merge the best techniques of traditional networking with the best new platforms and technologies to engage your target audience, build your network, and grow your brand and business. The podcast is sponsored by Marshall Communications, Maine-based, globally connected. Now, here's your host, Nancy Marshall.
Welcome to the PR Maven podcast, episode number 27, presented by Marshall Communications, creator of the Marshall Plan 65-Step Strategic Process. For those of you who are new to the show, I'm your host, Nancy Marshall, the PR Maven and CEO of Marshall Communications. I want to welcome you if you've been a long-time listener. And actually, I wanted to give a shout out to Joe Albert, who is actually the person who introduced me to our guest today. And he's been one of our most faithful listeners so far. So welcome back, Joe. And so I want to also welcome any new listeners who are just tuning in for the first time and hope that you'll subscribe and rate us and review us and keep listening because we're putting a lot of effort into this podcast and we want it to serve you. So this podcast provides you a unique perspective on the world of public relations and personal branding, including what I hope will be actionable takeaways, but we also are having giveaways. I want to emphasize the importance of enhancing traditional relationship building with today's new technology. And every week, the podcast features interviews with successful industry leaders, top executives, and media personalities from around the globe. And this week's guest is no exception. Today we have Skylar Welch, who's a loan officer with Acadia Lending Group. Welcome, Skylar.
Thank you, Nancy. It's great to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. I'm going to just give your bio. Skylar grew up on a small island in Eastport, Maine. She graduated from the University of Maine, where she spent time studying on the coast of California. So evidently, Skylar has been on both the West Coast and the East Coast, which is really a great opportunity. After graduating, she took a job with a title company, and this is when she found her love for the real estate business. In 2011, Skylar started with Acadia Lending Group, where she found her passion and became a loan officer. And in her role with the company, she provides an affordable, reliable lending options for people who are looking to purchase property in Maine. Her main focus is to make the process as smooth and easy as possible for the client while making it a great experience. She lives in Windham, Maine with her family. So, Skylar, I want to kick us off today by asking about how you got into your career in the first place.
Sure. So as you just said, I started out working for a title company back in 2009, and I really learned that I loved the real estate world because I loved that I was talking to different people every day, and it was always a different situation, and you're always problem solving and always something new. And I really liked that side of things, but I realized that the title side wasn't quite as fast paced as I like to be, and not quite as exciting. So I went on to get a job as a mortgage assistant with Acadia Lending back in 2011. And I really learned the ins and outs of the whole mortgage process from the application to all of the conditions. I did the assisting, I did the processing, I did all of those things, whether it was ordering the appraisal and the insurance binder and the contact with the buyers. And I really was doing all aspects of it and learned that this was really where I was meant to be. And I went and got licensed and started originating mortgages when rates were super low. It was really the refi boom. Rates were, high 2s, low 3s. And I was able to really reach out to a huge client base of people and refinance them and really learn the questions to ask in different situations. And every person has a different story. And I like to look at those situations and problem solve those situations and be like, how do we make this work? And I just loved it. And over the years, I've really built a huge clientele of people that, of referral partners that I'm able to build relationships with on real estate, whether it's a real estate agent, past clients, insurance agents, title companies, financial planners, other local banks, all these places that I've become a resource for. And that's really how I got into it at first. And now it's just really taken off.
Well, I can tell already, Skylar, I haven't actually met you in person yet, but I can tell that you have a unique combination of people, skill with networking and people, but I think you also have attention to detail, and you also have a gift of knowing the math, because obviously in your business, you have to be able to figure out the mathematics, because that's what makes it all work.
Absolutely.
And oftentimes, people who are like people oriented, like when they hear, that they have to calculate anything mathematical, it just makes them shut down. But I think you have all those skills.
Yeah,
Were you good in math in school?
I was very good at math, and I always would complain about it and tell my parents how much I hated it. My mom would always say, Skylar, I'm telling you, you're going to end up in something in math. And I said, I hate math. And she goes, but you're so good at it. And here I am with math every single day.
Well, yeah, I hope your mom listens to this podcast, because she did you a service by encouraging you. Yeah, I do think that is a problem with a lot of girls, especially. I think that they think they're bad at math, and people around them reinforce that. And I know for me, it wasn't until I had a really good math teacher in 12th grade who kind of said, hey, you can do this. Yeah. And when I started believing it, that's when I started doing better. So I think you had a great mom who encouraged you.
Sure did.
Skylar, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently?
You know what? I really think that I did it the right way in regards to starting from the bottom. I've seen a lot of loan officers, or a lot of people that are not loan officers yet, try to get into the business, and they don't start from the bottom. So they don't really know the process. And if you don't know the process, you really don't know how to get your buyers to the end result. So when I started assisting here at Acadia. And I learned the ins and outs. I mean, I was doing all of the paperwork. I was chasing all the conditions. I was ordering all the verification of employments, ordering all the appraisals. And I really learned the back end of things. So I could look at a file and know about all the disclosures and all of those type of things, where if you just jump right into it and think you're just going to start slinging loans and closing them, and you don't know how to get to the end, you're not going to get to the end. So I feel like, for me, that was the best thing I could have done, because now I know all sides of it, and I can help my processors with things, and because I've been there and I know that side of things. So I honestly feel like if I was to get into the mortgage business again, I would do it the same way that I did it this time. And I would recommend that for anyone getting into the mortgage business is don't just jump in and try to be on your own. Have a mentor. John and Heather Rose that I work for are amazing. And I remember just sitting in my office, and I could hear John talking on the phone, and I would listen to him, and I would listen to the questions that he would ask each buyer, and the scenarios that he would have. And even now to this day, all of us talk every day, and we bounce ideas off each other and bounce scenarios off each other, because every single situation is different, and we all learn from each other. And I think that is a huge takeaway, and you should always keep learning from each other, and not feel like you can't start from the beginning and learn what takes you to get to the end.
I love that, because, I've been doing public relations and marketing now for, I don't know, it's probably, if I was better at math, I would know the number right off the top of my head, but I think it's nearly 40 years. It's a long time. But I feel like I still continue to learn something new every day. And actually, I'm almost anguished a lot of days by like, oh my gosh, I've got to make sure to learn this. I've got to learn that. So I think if you believe in continuously improving yourself, and you obviously had great mentors, and the fact that you listened to them and they allowed you to listen to them was really key.
I think learning from each other is so important. I mean, you just don't know until you run into something, and we've all run into so many different things. So until you've hit it yourself, you don't know what's going to happen. And I run into all the time. I mean, I've closed a lot of loans, and there are still new situations that pop up all the time. And I'm like, oh, I've never run into this income situation or this employment situation or whatever it may be. But someone else in my office may have. So it's great to have those people that you can bounce ideas off of and bounce scenarios off of and learn from each other.
Well, that's the real idea of working as a team too. Greg, who's sitting here with me today, just said it last week. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Sure does.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you have such a great team, and I'm sure you contribute a lot to it as well.
I'm very lucky.
Skylar, can you give me an example of how PR and social media have helped to advance you personally or your organization or a client?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do a lot of things in social media, in PR, and in these ways to build clientele. And I do a lot on Facebook. With Facebook, I'm always posting testimonials, because I think that people seeing what other people have said about you is a great resource. I also, whenever we have new products, I'll post a little something about that, or setting myself apart from working with a bank rather than when working with a mortgage broker, or if we're offering appraisal credits or whatever that is. I always am posting on social media. I think it's really important for the people in your network to know what you do. And I think that that's something a lot of people miss is, your biggest referral source when you think about, is it your parents, your family, your best friends? No, it's not them. It's these people you work with professionally, because those people aren't the people you educate on what you do. Your best friend may not be a referral source because they actually don't even know what you do. So the people that I have on my social media are people in my immediate network, and they already know me, and they already like me, and they already trust me. So why wouldn't they become a big referral source? So if I'm keeping up with my social media, then they know what I'm doing, and they know what I do every day. So they're more likely to refer people to me. I've also started doing a lot on Instagram with Instagram stories, and that's reaching a different group of people, I would say. And I just recently did a post about just reaching out to people that rent and say, hey, shoot me a message if you currently rent, and I'll find you a place that could be the same amount or less than what you're paying now. I got such a huge response on that. And that was just a little post I did on Instagram. I would say one of my biggest resources is I ask every past client that I have for a review on Zillow. They go on. I feel confident with the experience that I've given to all my buyers to ask every person. And I'm now the number one lender in the state on Zillow. So when people from out of state, even people in state, reach out, on Zillow, because that's a huge resource in real estate. They go on Zillow to find someone, to find a mortgage broker. They're seeing me first, and then they're seeing all these great testimonials of people that have actually had a good experience for me. And I'm closing probably at least 3 deals a month directly from people that find me on my Zillow leads. That's not paying anything for that. As simply as people that had a good experience with me that are now saying that, and people just naturally, organically finding me and doing that. So that's been a huge thing for me as well. Another thing on Facebook is I've joined some mortgage groups of people around the whole country. So these are other mortgage brokers like myself in other states. And we're really supportive of each other, and we post ideas that we have as far as marketing. In the last month, I've picked up 3 buyers for people simply saying, hey, I have a buyer in Maine. Does anybody have a mortgage broker there? I'm like, hey, here I am. And I've picked up 3 buyers. I'm literally closing one tomorrow. I've closed 2 more this month that I've simply just picked up by doing that. So if anything, I think no matter what kind of profession you're in, join groups that are in other states. I mean, huge groups on these social media can be great resources that give you some really great ideas. And they're not trying to compete with you. We only do mortgages in the state of Maine. So these people in California, Montana, whatever, they may look at you as a referral source for them when they have clients that are looking to buy in Maine. So I think no matter what kind of profession you're in, find those groups on social media and join them and be active in them. And that could really open you up to new clients.
Well, you've said so much that I'd love to unpack further. First of all, congratulations. It's awesome that you're the number one mortgage broker in Maine on Zillow. That is huge. And I just love that you have the confidence to ask for testimonials, because I think a lot of people, and I especially think Maple, tend to be so humble, and they're like a little bit shy about asking for testimonials. But I think if somebody is happy with your service, they want to help you. They want to give back in some way. So I think that's a great way, and just sort of directing them to where you'd like them to place a review. And also, just in the age of internet, where we are right now with social media, people are much more likely to trust other people rather than kind of what yourself.
I mean, when you think about when you go to a restaurant, you go online and you look at the reviews. Well, if someone from Florida is going to buy a house in Maine and they don't know anyone in Maine, they're going to go online and look for reviews. So that's kind of how I've thought of it. And every time I ask a buyer, I don't ask them like, hey, can you do a review? I reach out to them and I thank them for working with me because I genuinely enjoy what I do and just check in on them, see how they're doing, and then just say, hey, would you mind doing me a favor and writing a quick review just so I can reach other potential clients like yourself. And everyone is more than happy to do it. And it's been really great.
Well, I can tell just it comes from a place of authenticity. I don't think there's anything phony about you. And I think people truly do. You mentioned know, like, and trust. And I think people genuinely do know, like, and trust you. And they can tell that you're passionate about your profession and you want to do it right. And I can tell you want to improve all the time. So I think you've got so much good advice, whether someone's in your same line of work or any line of work, actually, because, that's where people are, people go online and people will research someone online for days or hours and hours before they even pick up the phone. Absolutely. Or reach out and call you. So obviously, and I loved the fact that you did that social media post aimed at people who are renting. That was really smart. Yeah. So Skylar, I know that PR, marketing, and certainly social media have changed drastically over the course of my career. What techniques are you using now that you were not using when you started out?
Well, when I started, I wasn't using any of the social media platforms, and I was not using a CRM system, which is like a client retention type system. Even now to this day, I am a very personal type person. I still reach out to all my past clients, all my current clients, and I reach out to them all personally. I personally call them, I personally email them. I don't send out blast emails. But I'm using these different platforms like the Facebook, the Instagram. I'm using videos. I recently, last week, was just part of a national mortgage video. I guess it was a webinar video where they interviewed me, and now that reached out to the mortgage brokers all over the whole country. And now this week, I've probably had at least 5 of them reach out to me. I probably had 45 of them add me on Facebook and different social media aspects. And now they're, again, going to be a part of my network. So by doing these other types of videos and getting the word out there of what I do and who I am, now I'm reaching a bigger network of people, which I think is huge because then again, you'll become that resource for people. I wasn't doing any of that when I started, and now that's all become a really huge aspect of what we do because so many millennials don't really just, they don't call, they may not say, oh, my mom worked with so-and-so. They're more like, oh, well, I saw this post on Instagram, or I saw this post on Facebook, or whatever that may be. And that's how they're finding their resources. I'll advertise like first-time homebuyer seminars that I'm doing. And then that reaches out to a whole network of people that I wouldn't be able to, that I don't know, so I wouldn't be able to reach them otherwise.
Well, the other thing you mentioned that a lot of millennials are timid about reaching out. I also think the millennials didn't really grow up talking on the phone that much. Mm-hmm. I know, when I was growing up, we used to talk on the phone for hours. Our parents used to say, you can't talk on the phone anymore. Yeah. And then I am the mom of 2 millennials, and, they just hate talking on the phone to me. They would much rather text me.
I even think about, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead,
Well,
Skylar.
Even think about the method of how we've taken application. Like when I started taking applications, we had like a piece of paper that we would scan to a buyer. They would fill it out they would handwrite, fill it out. They would scan it back to me. I would print it out, and then I'd go and manually enter everything into the system. Or I would do all of the applications over the phone or in person. Well, now I'm just like, here's a link, fill it out. It gets sent back to me. It imports all the information into my system, and I run credit. Even things like that have changed drastically since we started.
Well, I think it's all about just making it easy and expediting systems. So, you know, I give you kudos for helping to expedite it. And the easier you make it for people, the more customers you're going to get.
Absolutely. It's all about convenience now.
Yeah, and speed. Yeah.
Yep.
What are some of the obstacles to success in your career, and how have you overcome them?
I think that the biggest obstacle when I started was that I was this young, brand new loan officer in an industry where I think that the average age of a loan officer is 55. And I came in this brand new, coming in marketing hard. I mean, I went after real estate agents. I got my name out there, and I was really being active. I was going to a lot of networking events. People were like, who is this girl? You know, just coming in here and in this industry that's been dominated by this generation that doesn't have a lot of new blood. And I think at first people would say to me a lot like, well, how long have you been doing this? Do you even know what you're doing? You know, they would look at me like I didn't know what I was doing. And I think that was hard for me at first. That I really had to prove myself. I had to say, hey, just give me a chance, and then show them how efficient I was, how quick I was, the level of customer service. I mean, you call me and I pick up the first time. Every person that I talk to still to this day is like, wow, did your phone even ring? Or I can't believe you're getting back to me on Saturday night, or whatever it is. You know, I'm always available, and I get things done really quickly. I don't look at a contract date and say, hey, the contract date's the end of the month. I'm like, okay, well, let's get this clear to close by the 10th of the month so that we can all sit back and relax for the rest of the month. You know, I don't like things to pop up at the end. So I like to get things done really quickly. So at first it was just building a name for myself and a name for my company. My company was brand new. When I started with them, they'd only been open, I think about 10 months, 11 months. And so I'm walking into a brand new company that doesn't really have built a huge name for themselves. And over the last 8 years, we've really become, I think we're the number one mortgage broker in the state right now. We have built a huge name for ourselves for just a small little company, and reputation is the most important thing. So I've worked really hard to build a strong reputation for myself, because there's a lot of competition out there. There are tons of mortgage brokers, and especially in this Portland area where I am, it's just saturated. And you know, you have to do what you can to set yourself apart. And I've done that by building strong relationships with my referral partners, nurturing those relationships, taking care of those relationships, and looking at my past clients as the biggest network of referral sources I have. I feel confident that they all had a great experience for me. So I stay in front of them. I reach out to all my past clients. I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of past clients that I have, and I individually reach out to them several times a year and just say, hey, how's everything going with the house? Or, hey, happy holidays. Or here's your tax document that you'll need to file your taxes. Whatever it is, I stay in front of them, and I have this, you know, I just have great people that I work with. And I think because I feel like I'm just as excited as the buyers are at closing, that they feel that I have that excitement for them, and that I'm there with them for anything. And they reach out to me now for anything. I mean, I have clients reach out to me and say, hey, I need life insurance. I'm like, all right, I can help you with that. Or, hey, I just got this document in the mail. What does this mean? Or, you know, I've become a resource and a friend for them. So I think really important thing is to treat clients like you'd want to be treated, and like they're the most important thing that you have going on.
Well, I think you've got so many positive attributes, and I think you definitely are a role model for the whole process, which is building your personal brand by building your network. And and I just commend you for you know, demonstrating every day how to do exactly what I like to talk about. So I'm so glad that we've been able to chat with you. We're going to take a quick break now, so we'll be right back. But first, I want to say that we're going to be giving away a copy of our cool things to do today pads. We just got these new PR Maven Nation pads in. Has like your top 3 priorities to get done today, your calls to make, your appointments, your notes. These are the coolest things to do, Pat. If you'd like to win one along with a copy of PR Works, just go to prmaven.com/giveaway. And in the meantime, we're just going to hear a little more. And you can learn more about our 65-step Marshall strategic process by going to marshallpr.com. And we'll be back with Skylar Welch in just a moment.
Hey PR Maven Nation, Greg here from Marshall Communications. I want to talk about your marketing strategy. Some days do you feel like you're a hamster running in a wheel? Perhaps you're just running the same ad in the same publication because that's the way you've always done it. Or do you not even know how many media impressions you got from that news story last month? Do you feel like sometimes you're doing a lot of work but not seeing the results? Well, the good news is you're not a hamster. And if you're feeling like your marketing plan could be better, we would love to help. At Marshall Communications, we've worked with a wide range of businesses and organizations to create a customized marketing strategy known as the Marshall Plan. During a period of 3 months, we meet with you and your top stakeholders to learn about your world, what keeps you up at night, and best of all, the ways we can work together to combine your knowledge and our marketing and public relations experience to avoid the feeling of spinning in a wheel, and create a 3-year marketing plan that provides you with a vision for success. The Marshall Plan is fully customized and uses our 65 proprietary steps and leads to a playbook for your success. And trust me, it feels so much better than running around in a wheel. Now, it's a great time to get your business going, grow your business, increase your profits, and most importantly, measure your results. If you think your business or organization would be a candidate for a Marshall Plan, you can take our Marshall Plan quiz to find out. Visit marshallpr.com/quiz. And if you'd like to schedule a free consultation about a Marshall Plan, visit marshallpr.com/consult or call us at 207-623-4177. Be sure to mention the code PODCAST for your free gift.
Welcome back, PR Maven Nation. And today we're talking with Skylar Welch, loan officer at Acadia Lending Group. And I want to dive right back in with some more questions that I know our listeners are interested in hearing about. Skylar, how do you measure success in your PR, social media, and marketing?
So I track every lead that I get, and I think it's really important for no matter what industry you're in is to keep an eye on where you're getting your business so you know where to put your focus. Right now, I know that I'm closing at least 2 or 3 loans directly a month directly from social media and from my Zillow reviews. And I think that that's important for me to know so that as I start planning for my 2019 goals, I know where to put my focus and know that I need to continue to put focus there and improve that. I also know that the biggest referral source more than any other referral source is my past clients. So I know that I need to continue to put a lot of focus there. And I think just by keeping track of where you're getting your business, that shows you how you have success in those areas. And then you can really put focus in those areas as you make your goals for the next coming year.
Well, I love the way that you're pausing to measure and see what's working, and you're also looking ahead and setting goals. So I do think you kind of need a balance of kind of looking back and looking ahead, and I'm glad to hear that you're doing both, but I'm not surprised. Skylar, most successful people have a network of fans and followers online or in person or both. Tell me how you have built your network of fans and followers, and has it been a conscious goal or has it happened on its own?
So I say that my fans and followers, I guess that these would be my past clients, also my real estate agents, but my past clients are the people that I have given this experience to. I really try to go above and beyond, and if there are things I can take care of, I'm not going to bother them with it. I mean, all of my clients say, like, this was so easy. Like, I shouldn't have been reading all those things about mortgages online because I was scared, and you made it really simple. And I really try to bring things down to their level so they understand and set realistic expectations. So now all these people that I've closed all these loans for have become my fans. They're my biggest referral source. I have one family that I've done 17 mortgages for family members in their family. I mean, they refer every person they can to me because they want their loved ones to have the same experience that they had. So I think that has been, I mean, just by giving someone naturally, organically building these relationships and having these experiences is how I've built these people that want to refer business to me. But then I also stay in front of people, like with social media, with emails, with marketing, with these things. I stay in front of them so that I do stay top of mind, because there's always going to be the next mortgage broker coming along and trying to sweep in that business. Like I said, things are really, really competitive, and there are a lot of mortgage brokers in this area, in the state, and they're always going to be looking to take that business from you. So, but I believe if you've built a strong relationship and you've built that relationship and given them that great experience, they're not going to want to go to someone else. They're going to say, you know what, I already have someone that's going to take great care of me. And because of that, I'm going to tell everyone around me to use them. If my coworker, my sister, my brother, whatever it is. And I would say that that's how I've built my biggest network of people, is just by how I do what I do.
Well, that leads right to the next question about your network. How has your network helped you to advance your career?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, more than any one source of business is past clients. I mean, I have a huge group of real estate agents that are really, really great referral partners, and I work really hard to nurture those relationships, take care of those relationships. I think that by respecting the people that you work with every day, that they're going to continue to refer business to you, and vice versa. I work really hard to send business to my referral partners and show them that I appreciate them and take care of those relationships. But I also do the same thing with my past clients, and I don't just forget about them. I think a lot of people in our industry just one-off people, and they'll close a loan and they'll never be in touch with anyone again. And they just say, you know what, on to the next, which I don't really believe in. I think you need to keep those relationships strong. And then every year set goals for yourself and do better. I mean, every year I want to do more. And that's kind of how it's made me advance my career. I'm like, okay, well, if I did this many loans this year, well, now I have 150 people to add on to my network of people that now can refer that much more business to me for the following year. So I think just building those and keeping those relationships strong is how I've, used my network to advance.
Well, I think that's just awesome. And I love the way that you sort of take a one-to-one approach too. You don't do blasts of, mass emails or mass mailings, but you treat each contact as an individual person. And I'm sure that they can feel that. Again, that goes back to that authenticity. Mm-hmm. So I think that you may talk about this with this next question, as far as being authentic and individualizing your approach. But what would be your one piece of advice for someone who's starting out in their career?
Yeah, I would say it's absolutely build those relationships. I've mentored a lot of new people coming into the mortgage business. And the first thing I said to them is, don't treat this as a sales position. But when someone's buying a house, it's not like selling them, a piece of furniture or whatever it may be. It's selling them their home. And that's very personal and very, people are invested in that. And it's an emotional experience. And I think that you need to take care of the relationships that you have and treat them like they're your only client. I truly want every single one of my clients to feel like they have my sole attention, and that I make them feel like this is a huge experience, because it is a huge experience. And I don't want any client to feel like I don't think that them buying their house is a really big deal, because it is a big deal. So I think that just building those relationships, making everyone feel really, really special and is really important. And that will continue to build your career, because you've built those authentic, true relationships.
And, I'm sure you find the same thing, is that helps you in your business and actually kind of just makes you happy, because even though they're professional contacts, I'm sure you become good friends with them too. I have found that in my own career, that, the friendships that I've business are just, they're a great source of happiness and fulfillment.
Absolutely. And I love that my clients reach out to me and they say, we're having a baby, or, we're ready to buy a camp, or whatever it is. They want to reach out to me and tell me about their experiences. And And I think that that's really great because I want to know, and I'm interested in. Today, I just had a client send me a picture of, I bought her a wreath at closing, and she sent me a picture of the wreath on her front door and then a picture of her kids decorating their Christmas tree in their first home. And I said, you know what? This just made my whole day because I'm so glad that she feels like she could show me what has, that this means so much to her that they're having their first Christmas in their first home and that their family is really enjoying it. And we just closed that on Friday. And I'm like, you know what? That is perfect. That's what I want. That's why I do what I would do, is because I want to help people be able to buy homes and educate them to let them know that they can, and then help them through the progress of getting there, whether they're in a position to buy a house now or they're going to be in a position to buy a house in 2 years, whatever it may be. I want to help them get there. And there are a lot of clients that I meet with, I talk to, and their credit's not in the place that they're ready, or they're financially not ready, but we put a game plan in place, and I continue to follow up on that game plan and help them get to the place where they can. And those are the most rewarding people to me, because I know that they worked so hard and they did exactly what they needed to do to get the dream of becoming a homeowner. And that's a huge dream for any person. So I love being a part of that.
We lost you, Skylar.
Skylar, are you still there?
I'm here. Yep, I'm here.
You faded out.
We lost the end of that.
That sucks. Sorry.
Yeah, I think probably just closing out that last thought that you had about.
Go back to, I love that. Yeah.
Do you know where I was?
You were talking about the Christmas wreath and
about when they share the moments of their lives, and then also how you were able to help people who go through not being ready, giving them a plan.
Did you hear all of that?
I heard kind of through that, and then you were talking about creating the plan, and those are the most rewarding for you. And then that's kind of when it dropped off. It just went like silent on us. We apologize again for our internet.
Okay.
But that's where we had a drop off. So I think if you just close the thoughts that you have on, maybe you want to start with the people that, aren't ready, they need a plan. Those are the most rewarding, and what you want to finish.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry for that. So
it's okay.
We'll have you just pick up when you're ready to start. You can just start speaking.
Okay. So I really love working with clients that are at the point where they're not ready to buy yet. So they come in with me, they sit down with me, and we take a look at their whole financial picture, whether their credit isn't ready, they're financially not ready, whatever it may be. And we take a look at it, we put a game plan in place, and then I continue to follow up with them and help them get to the place where they can buy. That's really the most rewarding thing for me, because they've really made that dream of becoming a homeowner a reality. And that's so rewarding for me, just to see that happen. I'm helping a client right now, actually, and she's
for most people, that's the biggest investment they're going to make in a lifetime. So
it really is. It's
the fact really, that you play.
It's really an emotional decision, an emotional situation for someone, and they really need someone that's going to be there to support them throughout it and help them get there. And I like to be that person for them.
Yeah, well, that's one of the most important financial decisions anyone will make in a lifetime is, how to secure a mortgage and how to pay for their home, which is just a huge investment. So the fact that you can play a central role in that, I'm sure, makes you a big part of people's lives.
Absolutely.
So, Skylar, my final question is to help PR Maven Nation connect with you. What are some of the best ways that our listeners can get in touch with you?
Sure. So I can be reached pretty much at any time. I work 7 days a week, anytime. So I can be reached on my cell phone at 207-949-3568, or I can be reached on my email at Welch, WELCH, at Acadia, ACADIA, lending.com, or you can visit our website at acadialending.com.
Well, thank you, Skylar. It's been so great chatting with you. I've learned so much from you, and you are a role model for young people and actually people of all ages who are using relationship building and network building in order to advance their sales career. So congratulations and thank you. It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you.
So PR Maven Nation. Oh, yeah, you're very welcome, Skylar. PR Maven Nation, that wraps up this week's podcast. Thanks again to Skylar Welch for joining us today. And if you have any questions for our guest or you'd like to hear more about a certain topic or a certain person, feel free to email me, nancy@prmaven.com, and I do respond to every single email. And please enter our giveaway for a copy of my book, PR Works, and a Things to Do Today pad at prmaven.com/giveaway. This podcast is presented by Marshall Communications, creator of the 65-Step Marshall Plan strategic process. And to learn more about the Marshall Plan, visit marshallpr.com. And please check out Communications webinar series. For a full schedule of our free webinars, visit marshallpr.com/webinars. Thanks for tuning in today. And remember, you can subscribe to this podcast at prmaven.com/podcast. Please tell your friends and family to check it out as well. And remember to keep building those relationships and embracing new technology to extend those relationships. And thanks for joining us again. Have a great week, PR Maven Nation.
Thank you for joining us on the PR Maven podcast. For show notes, links, contact information on our guests, and way to connect with Nancy Marshall, the PR Maven, go to prmaven.com. Subscribe, like, and share to support this podcast and bring on more great info on how to connect, build your network, and build your brand.